The chairman of Ajeromi-Ifelodun local government area of Lagos State, Mr. Fatai Ayoola, has said that local governments have no reason not to pay the newly approved 70,000 naira minimum wage. Ayoola, in an interview in Lagos, says that with increased federal allocations under the President Bola Tinubu's administration and the recently granted financial autonomy, local governments have been well equipped to pay the new minimum wage. According to him, local governments recorded 100% increase in federal allocations under the present administration, and there is no reason councils should not be able to pay the minimum wage with direct federal allocations to them. Ajeromi pays more than the minimum wage in terms of allowances added to salaries of their members of staff, and paying the minimum wage will not pose any issue to us and will not affect our ongoing and future projects, he said. He has added that the council regularly gave palliative to his staff and community members. He urged Nigerians to hold their local government chairmen accountable. You know, this is a huge revelation to some Nigerians, because there's always been this ideology of, oh, there's not enough, or the economy is not smiling right now, it's biting hard on us, and probably why some of the things that are not happening are not happening. But even with the break of the autonomy, the local government autonomy now, it feels like sunshine for some people, and they're looking at, okay, let's see how it'll play out now. Let's see how these communities, especially those communities that we've heard reports of them not even having government presence at all. Some of them have said there's no form of electricity at all, that community has never seen. I had a guest who said that, and you know that community has never seen electricity. There was no clean water, drinking water, and you know, you ask questions like, what is going on? Are these people still, and some of those communities, let's look at the Niger Delta now, they are part of the oil-rich areas. But let's get your thoughts on this story first off, Labdi.
Okay, thank you very much. For me, I think that's quite commendable. We have to commend the federal government for approving that particular policy. That's the local government autonomy. For me, is a welcome development and a very proactive step in the right direction. I want to concur with what the chairman said. There is no reason any local government chairman should probably not pay the minimum wage, considering the fact that their allocation now comes directly to them. And I'm sure that excludes the internally generated revenue by the local government. Am I correct? So I don't think there's any reason any local government should pay anything short of the minimum wage. They shouldn't complain. So for me, it's a welcome development.
All right, Martins.
Yeah, thumbs up to the Tinubu's administration. Chairman from any part of this country should give excuses at all. They should pay that particular minimum wage, as there is enough fund to take care of that particular minimum wage. They can take care of everyone, and there won't be issues again. Going on, I advise that after these payments, they should do well too to invest in special areas in order to boost up their internally generated revenue. They should do that. The IGRO has to be boosted. And how do they achieve this? They're definitely going to achieve this particular idea by going into special areas, invest in special areas. There are vast land in the north. Let them invest there. Here in the south, there are green areas that we need to invest too. Let them invest there. Go into agriculture so that after a short period of time, those investments that are being put on ground will now begin to generate revenue, so you won't have any reason whatsoever to complain.
But even with the increased FAC allocation and all of that we're talking about for LGAs and all, we've had state governors who have said that they cannot pay this 70,000 naira minimum wage.
Okay, can I respond?
Yes, go on, please.
Okay, Annie, I've told you severally on this particular program that one problem we have in this country is that some Nigerians have chosen not to be patriotic. If you check, if you check, since Tinubu came on board, there's been a drastic increase in FAC allocation. In fact, it is being said that the last week or thereabout, River State got about 32 billion thereabout. That's over 100% increase as against what we used to have. And other states too. So if you do a proper calculation, in this 1 year stay of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you discover that there has been no state that has taken anything less than 80 billion within this particular 1 year. So if anybody is saying he cannot pay the new minimum wage, the person is not being sincere to Nigerians. The person is not at all.
But they have complained about the fact that they cannot use all of their federal allocation to pay salaries, and that their IGRs, for some of the states that complained, that their IGRs they are not even producing enough to have enough internally generated revenue to now start paying that amount. Remember now, when the governors actually said that they were going to, in order to prevent them from laying off some staff because they might not be able to meet up with that amount of money. Let's get your thoughts on this one, Loveday.
Just like my colleague over there said, any state government that is trying to shy away from that particular responsibility, I think is not being patriotic, and that may lead to revolution, if you ask me, because the public are aware. We know that the fund allocated to the state, of course, the local government autonomy fund that is being sent to the local government can take care of the civil servant and those local governments. So anyone saying they cannot do that, I think those persons are not being patriotic. Those local governments are not being patriotic at all. And then, if indeed they are sincere with Nigerians that they cannot, they should also make it available to the public. Let us see how much salary they pay monthly. Let us see how much they pay to civil servant and all of that. That should be, made public. Then let's run the analysis and see the reasons why they say they cannot be able to handle that particular payment. So for me, it shouldn't be applauded at all.
All right. So you believe that there's actually finance to settle that?
Sure.
So
sure.
If they're not paying, it means that probably they themselves do not want to make payments.
They do not want to make those payments. They do not want to make
why would you think? Why do you think that is the case?
It will still take us back to the idea of patriotism I'm telling you about. People think that when they come into power upon emergence, that it becomes an opportunity to save for themselves and their family. Okay? So when money comes in, a single person puts out some huge amounts for himself, okay, with the concept or the mentality of, this is my only opportunity to get as much as I can. I do not know what tomorrow holds for me. And so when allocations come in, you see a single individual who calls himself a governor putting aside over 40% thereabout of the money that comes in, and then want to distribute 60%. And nobody questions him. He is in charge. Have you not observed that immediately they leave office, EFCC comes after them, ICPC comes after them? That is because of these too many misconducts. If you follow the rules, this is my salary, these are my allowances, you put them aside and focus on delivering on the mandate the people have given
what
to
do
you.
you
There won't be
think?
any issues at all.
Yes, what do you think should be done, especially with this set of governors we're talking about who have said they cannot pay this amount concerning the minimum wage now? What do you think can be done? Because we've heard cases of governors owing salaries. We've even heard cases of the last minimum wage, some governors not even paying the last that's the previous minimum wage, not stock of this new minimum wage at the moment. So do we allow it to be, business as usual? What do you think should be done differently to make sure that these governors are meeting up with this?
Well, for me, it doesn't have to be business as usual. We can't continue like that. We can't continue that way. What should be done is that the people should keep talking, just as we're doing. People should keep talking, and there is need for more proactive measures by the public, by the masses who are being disenfranchised, who are being impoverished by some of these attitude of our leaders. So if we get to the point where the masses decide to assume full responsibility, knowing that they elected these officers and that the officers should be held accountable, we expect them to account to the masses whatsoever, kind of expenses they run at the end of their tenure, or even while in office, then believe me, those governors, those local government chairmen and all the public officers, they will readjust. They will align to meeting to the need of the masses.
But so many times we have seen people protest. We have seen civil servants take to the streets. We've seen pensioners take to the streets. But at the end of the day, you still like that. So it's not the first time that people would be talking.
Sure, I quite agree with you. Everything has level. Everything has, modalities. For me, there should be an advancement. Just like what was happening recently in Nigeria, the federal government is making an attempt based on the bad governance protest that has been on. There has been some level of adjustment. That's an upgrade. That's, a kind of advancement from what it used to be. So Nigeria...
Sorry to cut you there, but some Nigerians do not agree to that there have been some adjustments. In fact, some people can see that and tell you that nothing has been done. So when you talk about some adjustments since the protest, I'd like you to tell us which one.
Okay, I have...
Which one you're referring to.
I have already pinpointed one prior to this time.
Okay.
And that is the attitude of the security personnel. Prior to this time, we know how it happens. Once there is a protest, yes, you see the attitude of security personnel, teaching towards, working, let me use the word, they seems to be working against the masses. But this time around is not like that. You see the security personnel organizing themselves, trying to condole whatever form of attitude that is being portrayed by the masses, understanding that the kind of training they got is not or wasn't the one that the masses...
That's in some areas.
Definitely.
Because we still heard about live ammunition, no live ammunition. People saying live ammunitions were shot, and then the IGP saying no live ammunition was shot, and all of those.
Sure, but you can't compare the recent development with... I must tell you that we're no longer where we used to be.
But lives were lost.
Definitely. Lives will be lost. That's part of it. That's part of it. So that doesn't mean that, there has not been any form of upgrade or advancement. So if you ask me, I will tell you that, indeed, we are no longer where we used to be.
But that's the only adjustments that you can make reference to.
No, that is not. It's not. Even the president himself has also addressed Nigeria. Even if some of us are not too comfortable, some Nigerians said that he did not address the issue raised by the protesters.
So what do you think?
Yes,
but he addressed the issues raised by the protesters?
He hasn't. He hasn't critically addressed those issues. But there has been a kind of body language that is showing. He has accepted, he has adopted, some of the ideas or the things presented in that particular document, the publication made by the protesters. He said, I acknowledge, I understand the suffering that you people are experiencing, the hardship in the land. So having confirmed that means he's beginning to understand that what these people are doing, something prompted them to act like that. Something, inspired the masses, to do what they are doing. And that is why he's now calling for time, that they should give him a little time to now adjust and then probably come up with something that will be more probably significant to the people.
Yes, Martins.
Off the screen, I told you guys that the salvation of this country is nearer than expected. You talked about how to deal with some state governors who said they cannot pay the minimum wage. That was the question that led to the discussion and contributions coming from my colleague. And truth be told, I tell you, Eni, that a time is coming when people will start protesting. And what are they protesting? Or whom are they protesting against? This time around, it won't be after the federal government. We'll start holding our state governors accountable. Because state governors are given humongous FARC allocations at the end of the month, yet everyone keeps asking the federal government what they want, and nobody has ever thought it wise to call on state governors and ask them for proper accounts. We've not pushed the state governors so hard as we've done to the federal. For every protest, corrupt practices that happens in this country, whatever abnormality that springs forth in this particular country, we seem to be pouring it on the federal government without giving, palliatives were actually distributed. Where are they? They were given to state governors. Where are these palliatives? Where are they? So the state governors actually have explanations to give to us, and in the area of the president addressing issues, he hasn't at all. Though a significant milestone has been taken, wherein he signed that Alhaji Aliko Dangote's refinery crude cannot be sold to him using naira as a means of exchange. That is a welcome development. You start seeing the effect in the coming days. And so I appreciate the president, but I think the president should talk to Nigerians again. He should talk to us. I don't see any hope in that particular broadcast. No hope at all. He has not been able to factor those things that actually made Nigerians, young Nigerians, go into the street. We are telling you that there is hunger in the land. If there is hunger in the land, what is the causal factor? It is because there is hike in petroleum products. And so before we get foods and other consumables coming from the north and other part of the countries, because of the hike in fuel price, it reflects.
Yes, and they have to pay a lot
and before
for that.
Everything is dealing with people, and people cannot even afford those things. So there is hike in cost of things, and there is reduction in the quantity and quality of things we consume.
Yes.
That is what Nigerians are after. So I expected him to say, fellow Nigerians, those days, there are ways our leaders talked to us. You're seeing empathy. They make you believe that they are in same shoes with you.
But with Loveday's explanation, he already sees that the president, made that comment about understanding the pains of Nigerians.
That is more political, because if you're employing those choice of words, I was going there, you should now tell Nigerians, okay, let me sit with my cabinets. Let's discuss. We will remove this subsidy. We will have to reinstate subsidy. Let's give it a trial within 30-60 days and see what it becomes. These things happen in countries. Nigeria is 64.
You think taking back subsidy will solve most of the issues that we have?
What is the idea about government?
We were told that the subsidy was a huge scam, and that it was taken off to prevent the economy from crumbling completely.
That is not true. I totally disagree. What's the idea about government and governance? It is the good of the greater number. So if you're telling us that when there was subsidy, that a few persons in the oil industry were the ones benefiting from it, and now you've lifted the subsidy, you've removed it, and people are suffering, dying, and we will have to live. We have to be feeding before we talk about a better country. Let him reinstate it. He ought not to even go into removal of subsidy immediately. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ought to have sat down, draw out a long-time program, and then gradually remove it. You don't just come and declare removal of subsidy when there are no things on ground, and at the end of the day, you're sharing grains, you're sharing rice and all that. These things will not deal with the issues we are facing in the country. People are hungry. I am even hungry as I speak.
Loveday. I remember the last time Loveday was here, exactly. He told me he was hungry.
Yeah.
But now you're saying that the president has, addressed us, and, he has addressed some of these issues.
Definitely. Though he's addressed, like I said, he has not critically addressed all the issues raised, but there has been an attempt. There has been a kind of a push.
Is that what Nigerians really wanted? No, is that what they took to the street for?
That's not.
Some
Just like my colleague said, if you recall the last time we met, I said something concerning this particular issue, that the presidency or the government, the federal government, would have earmarked, preferred solution prior to the removal of subsidy. That's exactly what is happening to Nigerians today. I believe that they didn't sit down I subscribe to the issue based on the information given to the masses, given to Nigerians, the removal of subsidy from the information given, from the revelations made by the government. I'm okay with that. But where I have issue is the effect. They would have sat back, considered very analytically the effect of this subsidy removal before the removal. So it would have been a spontaneous kind of action, you know, an immediate stuff. So that's the area the federal government missed it. And we want to appeal that they should go back to drawing board. I said something before. I said, if you're leading a people and the people are lamenting, you know, the people are crying, shouting over a particular thing, over a particular policy, of course, the essence of you being there is to ensure that the people lives well. Am I correct?
Yes.
That's the reason for governance. That's the essence of governance. So if there is a particular policy that is being implemented and is biting on the people, I don't think it's a hard thing. It's something too difficult for the leaders to go back and say, wow, this policy is affecting our people. It's also affecting our government. Let us make an adjustment. I don't think it's a difficult thing to do.
You don't see the CNG vehicle innovation as the, yes, as the CNG now. You don't see that innovation as a step by the federal government to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal and fuel hike, Martins?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. You see, the idea about subsidy removal, I think the federal government knew what to do, but they never knew how to go about it.
With all of the advisors and all of those people, the experts around the president.
You know, there's this group from the West that told you that some of the presidential appointments, the ministers, that they were insignificant. They were just there doing nothing. And I subscribe to that particular statement. I buy into that particular idea. There are a few things he ought to have done. If you're saying you're removing subsidy, please, Mr. President, do well to revamp the Port Harcourt refinery. Please, Mr. President, give license to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modular refineries. Let them be producing. As they produce, there'll be market competition. This price will begin to drop. Gradually, you begin to lift that particular subsidy. Gradually. That declaration on May 29th, 2023 was a total mess. And that is what has kept this country
right.
where
well, at the end of the day, looking at how much we were spending on that, in fact, from reports yesterday where we talked about we even subsidizing 4 other countries in Africa. That's like Nigeria spending so much money. And then taking it off is more like, okay, let's save ourselves the stress of spending this much. And that's why a lot of Nigerians applauded it. No matter how we see the effects now, a lot of Nigerians applauded the removal of fuel subsidy because they saw it like a break, you know, especially when there have been talks about it being a scam. But